And coming to you live from Kenny's basement apartment, or otherwise known as the future home of the Weast Manor Assisted Living and Animal Care Facility, it's Sports Allegedly.
Welcome. Thank you all for joining us for this episode of Sports Allegedly on this January, last day of the month of January 31st, 2025. Oh, so much to review, to talk about. We'll talk a little basketball. We'll talk a little college basketball. We'll talk a lot of NFL. We'll talk some coaching, football changes in the NFL and college.
Yes.
But we're going to start, as we do in this time of year, let's review those big games that we watched last week, the AFC and the NFC Championship.
Can't believe that you're not bringing up UFL or EFL news.
Oh, missed that. Okay, let's start in the NFC Championship. Last Sunday, the early game, the Eagles, Commanders. Halftime, I didn't get to watch all this. I got to watch the second half. But halftime, besides the dumb turnovers by Washington, it was one of those deals that you looked at this game and it really wasn't out of hand. It was 27 to 15 at halftime, and you're thinking,
You got a chance. Shore it up.
And
make your changes.
And as bad as Washington had played, they were in there. But then the second half comes around. It becomes one of those, you kind of figured this is how it was going to go.
Okay, let's just say that it was the fourth quarter that it really got out of hand.
Sure, but you realized that Washington just wasn't going to catch them. That was what you watched. I mean, Washington made it farther than they should have. They were ahead of their due time this season.
Yes, you had the rookie quarterback that said that he was going to be the first rookie quarterback to start in a Super Bowl, which he got close enough that he did, or he tried. And you had a coach who is an ex-Super Bowl coach, not winning, but went to the Super Bowl. Because Quinn spent how many years in Atlanta?
A bunch, and then should have won the Super Bowl.
So he knew how to get there. He knows what he needs to he knows what he needed to do to get there. Problem was, you ran into Papa Vic, and that front line that after the second half really
the first
controlled Washington's
the first half was turnovers. Obviously, 4 turnovers during the game. And then you've got, the time of possession, even with Saquon running for over 100 yards again and 3 touchdowns. Of course, the first play of the game was that long one. What was it, 60, 70 yards for the score. And so that kind of set the tone right there. And Washington was playing from behind right off the bat. But time of possession, third down efficiency wasn't so great for Washington. They had more plays. They obviously didn't have more yards, but the rushing yards was critical for Washington to win this game. They had to run the ball and they had to stop the run, and they did. 229 yards rushing.
You also had to control that defensive line. You had to get them to.
Well, you had to run the ball.
More guys.
Yeah, you had to run the ball, and you had to run the ball. And they
even with Daniels and. What is their running back's name?
Robinson. But really, when it comes down to it,
Eckler didn't even get started either.
When it comes down to it, is the turnovers. Why can I not say that word?
I don't know.
It's turnovers. The turnovers.
You love turnovers.
Yeah, the turnovers. Turnovers have just done them in, and that's what happened during this game. But hey, kudos to Washington. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Eagles in the Super Bowl preview when we do a little bit after this.
What did our score? What was our score for that?
God, I don't know. Did we write it?
I think we did.
Let's.
I don't know where in that giant notepad that you.
Let's see.
Is that it up there?
Yes, that's it right there. 24-21 Eagles, and I had 38-28. Yeah. So obviously outscored way more than what we thought as far as the Eagles. But in reality, Washington, we knew the weakness was the defense. They have to fix that in the offseason. They need to use some draft picks. They need to shore up the defensive line and the secondary. And, Jalen Hurts, 20-28.
But they have small pieces that they need. It's not like a major.
They're not far. I mean, you probably need a better running back, I think, and maybe a guy to go with McLaurin. As far as a wide receiver, I think you're good enough for tight end.
A wide receiver.
But it's
two,
it's a deep running back draft. So you're able to find that, and then find some defensive pieces. And like I said, this is that coaching staff's first year. He brought a lot of backup fringe players, a couple from Dallas.
Oh yeah, he went and picked,
and they improved as far as a team. And then of course you've got the rookie of the year, as he should be, Jaden Daniels.
Did he get it? I didn't see him.
There's been different awards. I don't know about the official one.
Yeah, I was waiting on.
But I don't know. There's no way anybody else gets that award.
I know your boy Brock Bowers. You were trying to.
I never had him ahead of Daniels after for week 4 or 5. That was my preseason prediction.
No. We talked about this. Middle of the season, you still had Bowers ahead of Daniels.
I don't think so. I think I had him right there. I said he needs to be considered. But with Daniels playing all year, it's bound to happen. But yeah, it was a good. Let me back up. Wasn't a great season. Sometimes that great word gets thrown out, but it was a very, very, very good season for Washington. Went way better than what most people thought, except Sports Allegedly, because we had them in the playoffs.
We did.
Yep. And way above the 6.5. And here's the deal: how will they handle the pressure next year of being
that team,
not the favorite in the East? I still think it'll be the Eagles, but the number 2 team, by far the number 2 team.
Especially with the coaching changes that they've made in Dallas,
and to make the playoffs, they will have to make the playoffs. But you got that website spot right? I'll find it because I want to look at the cap space, because the cap space for the Washington, if my memory serves me correct, is pretty favorable to them this year. I know some of the teams like I think the Patriots have a really good amount left for that, but I want to say Washington was up there quite a bit. But as far as the game, like I said, the turnovers killed them. I thought the momentum was always on Philly's side. Of course, it was at home for them, but kudos to Washington. Dan Quinn, you've done a marvelous job there. Jaden Daniels making the Bears, and we talked about this a little bit in the draft, was how good is Jaden Daniels going to be compared to Caleb Williams? And we
found out.
And we thought that he would be right up there with him, and he actually excelled.
I said that he was going to be better, and I wanted him because all of his, I hate to say it, but all of his metrics worked out.
Yeah,
his arm, his decision making, his ability to see the field, all that worked out.
Yeah, there you go. So for this season, and this is
Caleb was not that.
This is estimated cap space, obviously, for the 25 or for this year coming
2025 season.
Yes. Would they call it that though, even though it's still 24?
A real look at the 2025 cap space.
Yeah, because it'd be the end. Okay.
Yeah, so everything should be ready.
Well, that's right. So it looks like the Redskins have about $82 million. So they have the third biggest cap availability.
Yeah, New England does come in with 125 million.
I knew New England was up there. I forgot about Las Vegas. We'll talk. We can come back to this and talk about.
That's because Las Vegas hasn't done shit with a quarterback.
We'll talk about that a little bit. When we talk about the coaching changes, because that's big news.
So back to the game. And what happened was, of course, Philly's defense stood up, came up strong. I thought, was Dean in that game? Noka Dean.
He might not have played.
I think he was held out for that because I think he's still injured.
He was out. Yeah.
And that was a big part of their defense throughout the season. And what Vic has done with these kids who, if you saw them last year, you remember the team last year, even though they did win the East, it was night and day versus the team this year.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of...
The defense, the way the defense looked. And a lot of those players are still there.
And I think you also got to give credit to...
Cooper DeJean.
Rookie. Could be... Probably not going to win defensive rookie. Probably Jared Verse. Looks pretty good at the Rams, but and that guy fell to them. But
I know.
No, I think that Zach Bond. He's a linebacker. I believe he got brought in from where was he at? The Saints, I think, last year. And so he got brought in as a guy that was a free agent. He's out of Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Saints, and
his
was a big
entire
specialty.
rookie season. His entire rookie contract was New Orleans.
So big special teams guy. Philadelphia brings him over. His highest total for tackles was 30 in 21 and 23. This year it had 151. Obviously beat everything he had. Third round pick, went to New Orleans, and they brought him over. And it's one of those guys that are showing up, and coaching means a difference. Now, when we talk about the Super Bowl matchup, I've never been a fan of Sirianni, but he does.
You've never been a fan of Sirianni.
But he does. He's more the raw guy, and he lets his coordinators coordinate. And I think
especially after he lost Steichen and damn it, I forgot his name again. Connors?
Gannon.
Yeah. Steichen and Gannon, we thought he was done.
Well, they kind of did suffer last year.
They did.
Yeah.
Well, they
didn't look as good.
No, and
they
went through.
You got to remember this: the Eagles made the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
And remember, he brought over Kellen Moore, who is an embattled coordinator from
who did not have a good team at
Dallas and Chargers.
Dallas, okay, but I think it was more along the lines of Mike McCartney wanting to show, hey, I'm going to call the plays myself. Well, he got the hell out of town, and I don't blame him there. And went to a defensive-minded team, and statistically wasn't bad offensively. The team was just horrible defensively,
And you saw what we saw what Harbaugh did with that team, got them to the
playoffs this year.
Yes. And turned that team around, especially with the picks that he took.
Correct. Nope.
I know a lot of people were upset
agree.
with what he took Alt in the first round.
Well, I think the Grizzly, was it Grizzly Isley? What's his?
Isley?
Isley, or the tight end they have.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's turned out to be a surprise.
Will Disley?
Disley.
Oh, that guy came out of. I used to have him
Yeah.
when I first started playing fantasy football. I would pick him up.
Yeah.
Because he was or not when I first started, but later years, I picked him up because he was a dark horse when he was on Seattle.
Is that where he came from?
Yeah, he was just injury prone.
Okay, I thought he was.
Like
he
he
was a rookie.
No,
God.
no, he is. He seems like a rookie because if you look at how long he's played,
He's 28. You're right.
if you look at how long he's played, he's been injured
Gotcha.
the majority of his season.
Well, I mean, that guy's kind of turned around, and you're right. It was Seahawks, and he's come around. He was a 4th round pick, but that guy was a surprise. And he'd average more yards per route run than Hunter than any tight end.
I
since
love
Hunter
Will Disley. I just had to stay away from him because injury prone. Like it's every year in Seattle.
And then of course you had Lad McConkey.
Yep.
He's a potential. He's not gonna win Rookie of the Year. Obviously Daniels will, but he's gonna be top 5.
In yards he was fighting with Bowers.
Yeah, correct.
For rookies with the most receiving yards.
That's correct. All right, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about.
Well, finishing this up. Anyways, it turned out, the Commanders started getting desperate, and you could see that at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, and that's where everything fell apart. Because if you look at how many passing attempts Jaden Daniels ended up having at 48, and the team only ran 25 times, there was desperation in that.
Well,
and remember Tress Way, the punter?
Good pass.
He had a pass. But yeah, Philly took over. Philly turned everything on.
Correct.
Kenny Pickett even got to play. Little hands. Old tiny hands got to come in. So, and I know you're happy about that because you love Kenny Pickett.
Yes, he's great. And I mean, I don't really have anything. I mean, it's what I expected. I expected to be a little closer, and it was, like you said, for the first.
Well, you didn't expect Will Shipley to get 77 yards on 4 carries.
No, I just think it's just
because didn't he get a breakaway run there toward the end?
I think I didn't have the volume on this one. Now let's go to the next game. What game that I was 100% invested. Right from the beginning.
I think everybody in America was because they broke the television. I
haven't seen the totals.
Yeah, it came out. They had the highest rated AFC Championship game of all time.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, everybody was invested in this, and I know that now with the Chiefs and the Eagles going to the Super Bowl, they said that people are just selling their tickets.
Yeah, it was. That's 57.7 million viewers, and it was the most watched AFC Championship, like Sean said, in history.
Yeah.
History.
And this was Josh Allen's monkey to get off his back. And
did you kind of feel it was? I mean,
oh yeah. Even as soon as they got there, and they're playing the
you
Chiefs.
picked him big. I picked him 27-23. You picked him 24-13.
Didn't go, did it?
Well, okay. So go ahead. I'll let you start. What was the keys to the game? I mean, what did you watch as the game? I mean, I got all kinds of things that I could just regurgitate out my mouth, and I know the three things that really pissed me off during the game that I literally was yelling at the TV because I'm seeing this, and why I don't understand why is it the moment. I mean, should every team just hire a couple fanboys like us just to watch the game and we look at each other and go, why the fuck
why are you doing
this?
that?
Why are they okay. But anyway, go ahead and give me your points on this game.
I don't understand. Buffalo comes in. They have that hard game against the Ravens. They have what looks like an amazing defense. Which, granted, they did get a couple stops, but for the most part, the defense was just letting Patrick Mahomes pass all over them. They weren't really, covering Travis Kelce. I remember seeing the Simon J.P. Ryan. He got that one catch, and he just took off 17 yards. And Buffalo's offensive play calling, I just kind of went downhill. It doesn't show it in the stats because you had 34 passes versus 32 runs. But at the same time, you had receivers dropping balls, very important balls. You kept getting to fourth downs. I don't know how many fourth downs that they did they have in this game, and they kept getting to fourth down, and Buffalo ended up 4-6, and they were inept on offense. They were not that offense that you saw in that Baltimore game. They weren't that offense that you saw at the end of the year to get there. They weren't the offense that. It's like the offense took 8 steps back as soon as they got there. Some kind of Kansas City fear. I don't know what it was. I honestly can't tell you. The offensive play calling went downhill. How many runs did they have in a row? They kept trying tush pushes. Was Josh Allen over the line on that last one? Why did that door just slam?
Go ahead.
So I don't know. I don't know where it all went wrong. It's that monkey got right back on Josh Allen's back.
May I?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. Let me tell you where it all went wrong. A couple things. I thought they went for 2 early. I think it was the second quarter maybe. I thought they were chasing points a little bit. At one point it was 21 I think it was 21-20.
21-16.
No, it was 21-22. It was.
That was in the third.
Okay, so 21-21.
First half was 21-16.
No, I know that, but I mean, so you get in the third quarter at one time. That's 19-20. That's 22-21. That's what it is. Right. I counted the math wrong because I missed that too. So they're leading. Buffalo is still leading in the third quarter.
Instead of taking here's what you're saying. Instead of taking that field goal at the end of the first half,
just take it.
You went for 2.
Yeah, just take it. Just take the one.
And it'd be down, 4
take
points.
The one. I thought that was a little bit of chasing, and then you look at the third quarter. James Cook scores a 1-yard touchdown there. They miss another.
Only points scored in the third quarter was by Buffalo.
Yes. So you score there. It's 23-21, and you're just kicking your points, and then you turn around and let's say they score, so it's 23-28, because they're not going to go for 2. Kansas City's not more than likely, and then
not with you doing the cute time of 2-point conversions twice,
and you go 30-28, and then you let them score. I guess it'd still be the same. You'd be 30-31, or they'd win by 1. But I just thought the point chasing was odd early on that. Second thing that I thought that was more astounding than that was, and you highlighted a little bit, was the 3rd down and 1, 4th down and 1, give the ball to Josh Allen. He's under center. He doesn't do that as much. Hell, there's nobody in the backfield behind him. And if there is, you're wasting a guy right there. Tony Romo, to his credit, and I know you're not a huge fan.
Oh, I like Romo as a commentator.
Well, I like him.
I don't like Tony Romo as a quarterback.
But he turns around and says, we always know that Josh goes to the left.
And then they went
and
to
he
the
goes
right.
to the left. So it was
one time they did go to the right. They actually caught him.
But it was almost like it's almost like you called the play. It's like Joe Brady, who has had an exceptional year calling plays, and just pissed down his leg this game. And you turn around and you go run up the middle, and then your running back, who has had a hell of a year, James Cook, in his fourth quarter, he's nowhere. He's nowhere on these fourth and ones, third and ones. Now, I did think the Knox stretch, was it Knox or Kincaid? Who stretched for that? Who's 88? Who stretched for the first down? The ref marks it a first down, and then they don't mark it a first down. I thought that was a huge play there because I thought that changed the whole play calling on the fourth down, and then they don't get that one. So, yeah, it was Knox. I think that – was it Knox that went for that? I don't remember.
Yeah, he's 88.
I know. I think he was 88. Now I'm thinking different, but who stretched it? Maybe – God, I was really thinking it was Kincaid. Now
I think it was – well, no, Kincaid dropped the ball.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But no, the whichever one of them stretched for that first down looked to me live. It was a first down. The ref on his side, which would be the far field side, marks it first down. The other ref on the opposite side says bring it over back.
Well, and it was the same thing with Josh Allen making that fourth down that they said that he made it, and then they said he didn't. Because you had one ref coming in that he didn't make it, and you had the other line ref coming in that he did make it.
That's it. That's the one I'm talking. Not the Allen deal. I never. Yeah. So Kincaid, we know that was the fourth down. Gosh, maybe it was Knox. Anyway, whoever it was, Kincaid was the missed that fourth down play, and that was just a good blitz by. But no, I thought the first down or the third and fourth down run up the quarterback sneaks was horrible. There was no game plan. You took Josh Allen up to the line, and you had Kansas City, who I've said for the last 3 years, the reason, and I don't want to get this shit about Mahomes being electric in the playoffs. He is, but the reason you're getting to be that 1 or 2 seed is because your defense. If you're sitting there at the 4th and 5th seed, you're not making the Super Bowl as much as you have Kansas City. Your defense during the regular season is what keeps that team in the game and generally winning the game. And it's exactly what they done here. They took one of the highest potent offenses, of which the Bills this year, and they shut them down in the critical times. Now, did Buffalo shoot themselves in the foot? For sure. I think they did. I thought the play calling was I just thought it was bad. I don't know anywhere else to say it. I thought it was like, you get up to the line and it's like, hey, Josh, can you get us a yard? Just do what you do. It's like there was no plan. Legs. And then you put everybody up there and you're not getting the push. Now you do play action. You do anything. And you've got guys.
Was this your pass you're talking about?
You've got guys. It was a
2-yard that this was a turnover on downs.
It was it would have been the pass that the tight end caught on third down that did not get a first down. And it was Knox or Kincaid. But the thing is it just the play calling I thought was just ferocious. Then they didn't, they were so worried about Josh. That's what it looked like to me. Josh has toned down his mistakes and his turnovers, and it looked like they were worried about this game a little bit. When it got down to crunch time, third and short, I don't know, throw the ball. Don't.
Yeah, they didn't go for any. Every time it was really short.
It was always just let him run.
It was run.
And then they didn't even put Cook in.
It was run, and you could tell that it was going to be run.
That's exactly what it looked like.
Spagnuolo knew that it was going to be a run.
Well, and that was the third thing I was going to talk about, is the coaching was far, far superior on the Chiefs sideline versus the Bills. And I'm not saying by any means have McDermott go, but they get, I don't know what it is. It's like they just
he's the Marty Schottenheimer of our era. Remember, Marty could never get to the Super Bowl. He could build great teams throughout the season.
That's probably a pretty good comparison. They're both defensive-minded coaches.
Remember, because he took over for the Chargers when they got Phillip Rivers. They got rid of Drew Brees.
Yep.
He was at Kansas City whenever they were going to the playoffs every season. And I believe Washington Redskins was the other team that he did. Or am I thinking of Norv?
That was Norv.
Just Norv Turner. I don't. But I remember that Schottenheimer, Marty Schottenheimer, was such a great coach, but he could never get to the Super Bowl.
No, you're right.
He just it all fell apart. He could get you to the championship game, but it all fell apart.
Head coach. He was head coach of the Browns for a little bit.
Browns,
Chiefs. He was a Redskins 1 year. I didn't remember that.
Okay.
God, 1 year. Yeesh.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything there.
Must not have.
That's what I'm saying. It was a weird year.
Well, I mean, you look at the Cleveland 4-4, 8-8, 12-4, 10-5,
But that's
10-6. They get rid of him.
That's trying to fix that team.
And then he goes to KC 8-7, 11-5, 10-6, 10-6, 11-5, 9-7, 13-3, 9-7.
Yeah, but look at all those where he lost. Look at where he lost.
Yeah. Divisional game, wild card. He did lose to the Bills in '93 with the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, but the wild card divisional. I mean, he never could get out of that. Washington, he was even, and then he went to San Diego, went 8-8, 4-12, 12-4, 9-7, 14-2.
Yeah.
And then lost in the divisional game to the Patriots, which obviously there we go, Patriots on a roll.
And he really made Phillip Rivers look amazing, and it did help Phillip Rivers' career. But Phillip Rivers the same way couldn't get to a Super Bowl.
He was one of the best coaches never to win one.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. I agree.
Yeah, I remember watching Schottenheimer.
And hard-nosed.
I would root for Schottenheimer.
I did too.
And he could never get to. It was like watching before he won with Houston. Was it Houston? The baseball coach, Baker, Dusty Baker.
Oh yeah.
Remember, Dusty Baker would get teams to the title and couldn't win.
Now he did when he was at the UFL. He did win the 2011 UFL championship.
With who?
The Virginia somebody's.
Yeah, that's way back. That was
2011. He was the Virginia Destroyers.
Yes.
1 year.
Well, okay. Does that count as a Super Bowl win?
No, just a championship win.
So, Buffalo really has to get that off their back. Buffalo really needs that monkey off their back. Josh Allen needs to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, not just the regular season. Regular season doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he does have the most wins against Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback. You do know that.
Do you think it's...
Except in the playoffs.
Is this comparable to... And I'm sure someone has said this. I'm trying to think if I've heard it, so I'm not going to... I don't want to say I'm copying, and I'm sure I've heard it, but is Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, is that kind of what you see here?
Yeah.
Is it going to take a little bit longer for Josh to finally come through?
I don't know.
I mean, you look at the Chiefs. I mean, we've talked about when's the Chiefs' payroll going to be in demise. Look what they do. I mean, and we'll talk about it, and I'll kind of segue into the Super Bowl preview. They're middle. A little bit of a preview. But what they do is they have a quarterback. Obviously, that's number one. We all know this when you watch the NFL, and that's why so many teams draft the dumbest ass quarterbacks, because they try to hit. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Is that the old saying?
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to hit one. It's going to float to the top, and all these teams are trying. That's why quarterbacks are a premium. And if you're a good quarterback, by God, you're going to make some money.
You getting verklempt?
Yeah. So, and we'll talk a little bit about free agency quarterbacks, because there's a lot of talk about that. But you have teams, and they don't. And that's another thing. The Bills traded him the pick that gave them Mahomes, which is the irony of that is so nuts.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, you take them. He's got a quarterback. And then you've drafted well at your line. You obviously got Creed. You've got some other guys in place. Now, their O-line sucked ass when Tampa killed them because they had problems and injuries then. But where else do you pay a lot of money? He hadn't had big-time receivers. I mean, remember Tyreek Hill left, and everyone's like, oh, God, here they go. You know, they're going to be down.
I've never been sold on Tyreek Hill.
No, but I'm saying he was electric for that team.
He was.
And he was part of the beginning of that,
The
start.
dynasty.
And then he's gone, and then everyone's like, oh, my gosh, what are they doing? I think Kadarius Toney in the last Super Bowl, was it last year or the year before? He made a play, and I don't even, he made a huge play in the Super Bowl, and I don't even know if he's playing. I don't think he's on that team. And then you draft defense. You got Chris Jones, obviously defensive lineman.
You got to bring him back.
And he did. No, they re-signed him. They re-signed him. But then, you got to look what your draft is doing, and they're good in the draft. And, because they don't have a lot of big name people on that team.
Well, you got Hollywood Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith.
Well, yeah, but Hollywood Brown didn't do shit all year. He was
Xavier
hurt.
Worthy's turned out to be something. But he did do well in that game.
Draft pick,
Hollywood did do well in that game.
Well, so did Xavier Worthy. But draft pick. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those people are all drafted. You look at big free agent
Simon J.P. Ryan.
Yeah, great play at the end of that to seal the deal. I mean, he was part of that. But you look at what they have as far as big free agents, you ain't got them. You just ain't got them. They don't come there. They're not attracting those big guys.
Well, yeah, you got to remember Juju Smith has been embattled.
But that's how you pay them.
DeAndre Hopkins.
You only have so much money to go around.
But remember, he was embattled, and
vice
nobody
versa,
wanted him.
Look at the Cowboys draft. The cap hit is $95 million for Dak this year.
So Juju, nobody wanted Juju at one point.
He's not any good.
That's what I'm saying. But he did well in this game.
He's not any good.
DeAndre Hopkins, his age is what everybody says, and he ended up being traded over from the
Juju
Titans.
had 2 catches for 60 yards, which is good.
Yeah, 2 for 60. That's what I'm saying. He did well in this game. Yeah. Hollywood Brown. I forgot how he was.
3 catches,
was
35 yards.
Was he a free agent signing?
Yes.
Okay. And you fall into Pacheco. Samanja, you get on free agency. And you remember this, Samanja hasn't really been that electric since he was with Mixon at Cincinnati when they were running as a tandem there like they did at Oklahoma. And you have to bring back Kareem Hunt, who's been doing very well since he's been brought back, and he's embattled. You got all these guys that, no, you don't have huge names that are on the offensive line, except for Creed.
But he's a draft. He's a draft pick.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. And even on your defense, do you see a name on here that really, anybody after Chris Jones?
No.
That really stands out?
No.
Even in the secondary?
And Creed just re-signed for them 4 years, $72 million.
Yeah, this is showing you what Spagnuolo's doing with these guys who...
Well, that's what I talked about coaching earlier. The coaching mismatch was ridiculous. I mean, you got Andy Reid on the offense. You got Steve Spagnuolo on the defense. I don't know what he's making. He seems to be happy. He did do an interview, I think, for one head coaching job. He's probably not going to get another head coaching job. And unfortunately, it's probably because of his age.
But Spagnuolo doesn't. He already said he doesn't want it.
But he's a badass. I mean, that guy is.
He doesn't want it. He's had it and he doesn't want it. I think he's happy doing what he's doing. He has 3 Super Bowl rings now, 2?
Well, 3, because this will be 3rd if they win it, and they won 1 before they're in the row.
Oh, I know, but was he coaching whenever that? Okay, so he's got 3, so this will be his 4th. Yeah. Andy Reid went to he never could make it out of the Super Bowl until he came to Kansas City.
Well, but unfair made it to the Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He didn't do it until he came to Kansas City.
He's been the Chiefs coordinator since 2019.
And Matt Nagy, what does Matt Nagy have, like 3, 4 Super Bowl rings now?
He's a 4-time Super Bowl champion. He must have won one somewhere else. Probably with the Ravens.
Who, Spagnuolo?
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't he win early?
Or maybe it might have been with the Giants. Yes, it had to have been with the Giants, wasn't
it? Was he under
that last year?
Grano? What the fuck was that coach's name? He was a coach of what he at Rutgers?
He only coached at St. Louis. 1-15, 7-9, 2-14. Yeesh.
Yeah, he didn't like it. But go back up to his New York days. Was
Giants?
he under Tom Coughlin? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been where he won that Super Bowl ring. So, anyways, it turns out it comes down to who has the ball last, and Buffalo does not stop Kansas City at all on those last.
Well, that's what everyone's talking about, whether it be that call. I thought the Xavier Worthy catch was probably not a catch, to be honest. Looked like a possible interception.
Well,
but Buffalo, you're scoring.
So
you're up 20. You're up 22-21.
You let Mahomes throw a 10-yard pass to Pacheco. Now Pacheco gets 1 yard after that, and then you're holding him.
And that was the P.
And then P-Ron goes for 17 yards.
I mean, that was a play right there, 3rd and 9.
And that's what broke their back.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, and there wasn't much time left either. They ran out the clock after that.
I know, but they were trying to at least get it.
Yeah, they would have got the ball back.
Overtime.
Yes.
At least try a kick.
Yes.
But
no, it was. They really need to focus on their defense too, especially. I know Hamlin had a good game, but I think their secondary.
I'm going to also say a dynamic wide receiver, possibly.
Yeah, because
more O-line work.
Is Amari Cooper's probably gone.
We don't know.
No, I thought the O-line played better this year.
I'm saying more better because of those 4th downs. They could not get that if they're going to be a good team, and they're going to be trying to run on those 1 yard 3rd and 1. You should be able to get that 1 yard. You saw Kansas City do it repeatedly.
That's where Mahomes shows up.
But you saw Kansas City do it repeatedly.
That's where Mahomes. That's really where Mahomes shows up in the coaching. I mean, it's just it's night and day. It's just it's almost sad because even as an Eagles fan, you kind of envision what you saw Super Bowl 2 years ago, the repeat.
Right.
I think the Eagles at one point were up by at least 10. In that game,
10 to 15,
and then they just kind of kept coming back, and then you see them at the end. Sorry, you want to do a little talk on the Super Bowl preview, or just want to wait and preview it all next week?
We can. I mean, we can.
I just want to touch on just a couple things.
It's going to be.
I think
we're down in New Orleans.
I think the couple things that really
both coaches have been here before.
This is what stands out to me. I think you have a huge coaching and quarterback mismatch in this game.
Which way?
Which way? Are you fucking kidding me? You have to ask. Mahomes and Reed is a huge advantage over what you got. But I think you flip it a little bit, and I think the Eagles are better at D-line. I think they're better at O-line, and they're way better at running back.
And they have a better secondary.
So how interesting this becomes. I have a bold prediction on this game, and I know who's going to win it.
I want to say mine. 31-15 Eagles.
Okay. And so you're going to go early on that.
I'm going early. It's been in my head. I got to get it out. 31-15 Eagles.
I'm not. I'm picking Eagles too, and I'm a little closer, and I'm a little more high scoring.
Does this mean the other idiots are picking the Eagles too?
I'm sure they will. But now it comes to points.
Split the money.
Yeah, no, it comes to points. Closest points, final wins. So the only way it's a split is if it's a tie, and both have to agree to split the money. If one chooses to flip a coin, that's the way it goes. So if both agree to split the money, or if greed plays a part.
Is this total points?
Total points for both teams in the Super Bowl. And it's not an over and under. It's just closest. You can go over, you can go under. Doesn't matter. Just closest.
Right.
Gosh, I'm really a little more excited about this matchup than I was 2 years ago. I was really bored with that.
You hate.
Well, I mean, and I'm picking the Eagles, and it's tough for me to say that Jalen Hurts is going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
You hated Sirianni.
But what I'm going to say is...
You talk shit on him all the time.
What I'm going to say is, you got the best O-line, you got the best D-line, you got the best running back.
You got the best linebackers, and you've got the best secondary.
So, yeah, so it's huge.
Wide receivers a toss-up. It's a weird...
Well, no, they're the best.
The Phillies?
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh.
It's just they never get the ball thrown to him because their quarterback sucks. He just doesn't throw as well.
There it is. All right.
All right. What do we got?
You wanted to look at salary cap.
We'll We'll preview Super Bowl way later. But let's talk about.
It's on the 9th, isn't it?
Yeah,
Are we doing a party?
Maybe.
You wanted to talk. All right, we're going to do coaching.
Yeah, let's do coaching. Let's talk about the.
Okay.
Let's
I thought you wanted to do salary cap.
Well, I do because it's part of the coaching talk, and I want to get into that a little bit.
Well, I could do free agents too. Let's see.
No, I don't give a shit about that.
Well, the free agents factor into coaching as well, and the money. Really?
Okay. What do we got?
That is.
He's free.
You can
He's
cut
free.
that guy loose and.
He's free agent. Yeah.
Sorry, I just pulled up who's coming up on the free agents, and Stephon Diggs was number 1, and there's a guy that you can just cut loose and let him go to whatever team wants him.
Agreed.
I mean, I'm sorry, but just let him go. Keenan Allen, you do need to keep him in Chicago. I don't know if you can, but you do need to. T. Higgins definitely needs to stay in Cincy.
Yeah, they've got to get somebody.
Godwin definitely needs to stay in Tampa.
Yeah, that's going to be an injury thing is what they're going to be looking at right there. Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Khalil Mack.
Says he's coming back next year. Bet he comes back to the Chargers on a team-friendly deal. Unless he goes a 2-year bigger signing bonus type deal.
We do have Amari Cooper in this, but I mean, is he worth it? Is he a Stephon Diggs? Does it matter?
You know,
Can you get
allegedly,
a better receiver in this?
we've seen Stephon be a little more dramatic, kind of a bitch.
Kind of.
So I would probably go Amari.
Amari has calmed down.
He's not an issue. He'll be somewhere, and the Bills need some help. I mean, I don't.
Well, so you saw with Deontay Johnson. So you saw that he got cut by Houston, right?
Yeah.
And he got picked up by Baltimore, but he couldn't play, and so what that ended up becoming was a compensatory pick.
For Houston?
No.
Oh, for Baltimore.
For Baltimore.
Oh, well, good for them. Maybe that's why they done.
Apparently, Baltimore leads in compensatory picks.
Gotcha. Well, they're good draft teams, or they're a good drafting team as well.
This Zach Martin right here. Dallas really needs to keep Zach Martin.
Yeah, but he's old. He's 34. I wouldn't. I'd just cut him.
Get him on an offensive line and get him with a decent backup that he can train. You got Cam Robinson coming up in Minnesota. That's going to be a huge, huge deal because they need him for that line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you not see between the bottles?
No, I got it. But, Minnesota's one of those teams that, what do they do at quarterback? As you're talking about free agents, we can lead into that. I mean, you've got what's Pittsburgh going to do with their 2 quarterbacks?
Oh, man.
What's Tennessee do with their number 1 pick? Do they go balls to the wall and get someone like Cam Ward or Shadur Sanders? Jackson Dart's moving up the list, apparently.
Jackson Dart's moving up. I don't think that Shador or Cam is your.
But I think they both go in the top 5.
They do, but they're not your end all. Cleveland's going to screw up again. We already know that. Cleveland's going to Cleveland.
Are they even up there that high?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, their draft.
I don't even pay attention to them. I mean, who are they?
Their draft is.
I thought they were a little lower than they should have. Well, I guess they are probably pretty high, aren't they? But I know Tennessee is.
Tennessee's number 1.
Yes, Tennessee's
Las
number
Vegas,
1.
I believe,
Las
is
Vegas
3.
Well, let's talk about Las Vegas a little bit. So Las Vegas, as you're looking at the draft order,
Just hired Pete Carroll.
Hired Pete Carroll. I thought that was the best coaching pickup of the cycle, to be honest. The reason I say that is because it's the best coaching hire for the best coaching team for the team that they hired. He's a perfect fit for that. You look at his, we were talking. I mean, I'm the Pete Carroll that was looking at his his wins. Gosh dang it! There we go. Pete. His last 4 years at Seattle was 12-4, 7-10, 9-8, 9-8, and they got rid of him. Now,
there was some argument going on.
No doubt, but you lost the Legion of Boom. You lost everybody that they had built.
You never rebuilt the Legion of Boom. You never rebuilt that.
No, you couldn't, and you couldn't. I mean, they got.
You never got a beast mode back. That was the one.
But
that
I mean,
never really got a beast.
But I mean, from 12 to 16, 11-5, 13-3, 12-4, 10-6, 10-5. First in the NFC West, first, second, first.
Now he's second. Well, that's coinciding at that time with the Rams getting better.
Yeah.
Yes, and they had won that Super Bowl in that period. And then
moving
Shanahan,
over.
and then they got better. So to say 9-8 was bad, I mean, you probably had some pretty good teams, and you had it. He was doing that with Russell Wilson, which brings to mind, does Russell Wilson mosey on across from one coast to the next?
Does
it's not even Pittsburgh a coast.
It's not a coast.
Does
It's not a coast. It's Las Vegas.
Does Pittsburgh stay? Does Pittsburgh stay with Justin Fields, or do they think Russell Wilson? Yeah, I don't. They're not keeping both. They're not.
So Cleveland Browns number 2.
They do have the number 2 pick. Well, they'll goof it up, and
I don't know why it says they need an edge first. Because they have no quarterback coming in.
They need everybody. I mean, it's
New York
it's a
quarterback. You look at the top: Tennessee quarterback, Cleveland quarterback, New York quarterback.
Fits.
And then you
New
get
England's
to
not
New
going to
England.
take a quarterback.
You don't need a quarterback. Jacksonville. I think we would agree that they probably need a quarterback.
They won't.
It says, it's right there, right at the end.
No, but I'm saying they won't.
Las Vegas quarterback, the Jets quarterback, Carolina.
I thought one of the more improved, one of the more improved teams, Carolina. I thought their improvement at the end of the year was pretty good.
Right,
Didn't win a lot of games, but
right. Do they? Don't they?
We had them at the under, and it was 5, and we were 5.5, so we got that one right.
Yes.
Missed a few others,
New Orleans don't need a wide receiver.
Need a coach.
Don't need a quarterback.
Kellen Moore's going to be the coach.
Yeah, that's the Kellen Moore talk.
So you guys picked 10 again. Didn't you pick 10 last year, or was it 9? Where did you get what's his face at in Dunze?
Oh,
was it 9 or 10? It was 9 or 10, yeah.
We picked 1 and 9.
Bears, if you're smart, trade down. Get you every line help you can and get a bunch of picks and just keep trading
you get
down.
The line throughout.
That's what I'm saying. Trade down.
Grab that running back. Grab that.
No, you could get him too.
Grab that Scattaboo. That
Scattaboo's going to drop, and I think who am I missing? What's the guy that plays Gordon? Ollie Gordon. I like Ollie Gordon. I think he's going to be a really good NFL guy.
But he's going to end up being a late third steal, something like that.
That's what I'm saying. That's the people you watch for to get them in there. Scattaboo probably makes I would think the first round. Late.
No, Genty. Genty's going to. I don't think Scattaboo's till second.
I think Scattaboo's better.
Same thing as
Jackson.
Jackson.
Jackson
might end up top.
It all becomes where he goes. But no, that's what I was saying. Pete Carroll, I thought the best coaching hire. If you want to, let's look at those right there, Sean. That grade. Look at the grades right there. See how they graded everybody. I think Ben Johnson was a nobody a couple years ago, and now everybody thinks he's some wonder child.
Das Wunderkind.
Yes, I'm not so sold on it yet. I think with that offense that they had, the offensive play. Let me spit that out. The offensive players they had at Detroit.
We don't know how to talk to them.
Is they could have done a lot, and I thought Ben Johnson's play calling in the Detroit loss against Washington was horrific. It's like when in the big time.
And you've got to give that over to Goff too, because Goff had 4 turnovers.
He did.
He was a turnover machine.
He did. He showed up like we all thought he would.
And then Pete Carroll's a B+, which I don't know.
And and that guy from CBS Sports said, who wrote the article on that? Let's give him credit.
Give him an A.
Let's give him credit.
This is Will Brinson.
Okay, so Will Brinson from CBS Sports, good for you. He said he posted that he's on an island where we're joining you. I think the Pete Carroll was definitely by far the best. Everybody thinks he's old, and he is old, but he's a young 73, 74.
He's young.
And I think that's exactly what the Raiders need. They need someone that is got some history. I mean, look at the coaches they had hired, the Josh McDaniels, the what was the last coach? Antonio Pierce. Nobody's. And even who was the other coach that they had fired? Or maybe it was Josh, but I mean, just
there was a coach.
Did we miss somebody in there?
There was a coach that was before.
I mean, Dennis Allen was before, but
he was an interim coach, and it wasn't Dennis Allen.
They should have hired that guy that they let go.
It was a guy who got hired before Pierce took over. Or not, it was the guy before Pierce that was before him, the interim coach that was before him.
Well, I mean, you look at, it was Josh McDaniels, trash.
No, but I'm talking about whoever took over for Daniels. Whoever took over for McDaniels.
The interim guy.
Yeah.
Yes, they fired him.
Everybody really wanted him to stay.
No, I think that was the guy that took over for Gruden.
Was it Gruden?
Yes.
I don't remember. Just look at their coaching history and it'll pull up.
I did that, but anyway.
Anyways, B plus for Pete Carroll, and I think that's more of an A minus, probably A, just regular A.
I mean, we'll see about
because he brings in a lot of knowledge. He brings in a lot of history.
Of course, you've got then you got Vrabel going to the Patriots. I thought that was an A hire too. I mean, the guy that's a culture hire.
Did Jared Mayo really do that bad to get?
No, I think it was just
one season.
I think Vrabel was available. I think Vrabel was available, and Kraft goes,
"Can we do this?
Can we?
Hold on, can we do
even
this?
Though it was possible to do it,
black coaches as placeholders,
but it was possible to do it before. Why didn't they do it last year?
Well, Lovie Smith knew when
Vrabel took a year off.
Lovie Smith knew when he took that Texans job that he was just going to be for a year. I think everybody actually told him. Was like,
weird,
hey,
huh?
Just come in. We just need you to be here. We're going to be looking. If you do, great. We're going to hire you. If not, just hang out. Just do something. Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, now we go down to Aaron Glenn.
He's a Jets guy. Been there before. Played there. He was obviously going to get a job. He needs to have the opportunity to do it.
Somebody said something about
get rid of Rodgers, and tell the owner to shut the fuck up.
Now, who's his offensive coordinator? Who did he bring?
I don't know who he hired.
Because somebody said something about the Aaron Rodgers isn't going to like his offensive coordinator.
Oh, well, boo-hoo. Aaron Rodgers ain't going to like anybody that comes in, to be honest.
Jets had more flavor to Aaron Glenn's staff with Tanner Engstrand. Yeah.
Was he a?
He came with the.
No, where's he from? Is he the?
He came with Detroit.
Oh, okay.
He's 42. He was hired Friday. Familiar with
passing game coordinator.
Glenn. Okay.
And then you brought over not Antoine Randall L. Is that who it is?
Antoine Randall L's in Chicago.
Oh, he went to Chicago.
He's in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Remember, because we just talked about all that.
That's right. It's a good.
We hired. They hired Chris Banjo for their special teams. I remember that from the Broncos. We hired the Broncos tight ends coach. Well, is that what it was? As our offensive coordinator?
Yes.
Stan, figurehead, I guess is what you would call him.
Yes, correct.
Estergan is a Jim Harbaugh disciple, so he was with Harbaugh.
I have no problem letting young people get a chance to do it.
At Michigan. So it looks like he did DC Defenders too.
The interesting though is, I read a report that Wilson was looking at maybe wanting a trade, Garrett Wilson, and then you've got Devontae Adams. Does he stay? What happens to?
Every time you say Garrett Wilson, I think of the comedian.
Mina Kimes, who I really like. Listening to her, she's really good. She suggested that Aaron Rodgers go to the Titans, which
would probably work out better for him.
I'm suggesting that Sam Darnold, you go to the Titans. That's where you need to be if they're not going to re-sign you.
You think it works out for him?
Well, I like Brian Callahan's a pretty.
Who goes to the Jets?
Exactly, and it ain't going to be Sam Darnold.
Now we've got Liam Cohen, which is your OC. I don't know. Is it Baker making the OCs look good?
That's
or these
2 in a row.
OCs that good?
2 in a row. He's got head coaching jobs for.
And so
Dave Canales was at the Panthers.
He's now at Panthers. Liam Cohen's going to Jacksonville. They're all staying in the same general southern area. Mm-hmm. And you guys hired the Buccaneers hired Gizzard.
Yeah. Quarterback, pass game coordinator. Yeah.
Hired within in-house. So Brian Schottenheimer, the biggest surprise head coach.
Not a surprise for Jerry.
I think it was a surprise for
not for
people
Jerry.
There was a lot that said, "Who the hell is Schottenheimer? Who's Brian?"
We all know Brian Schottenheimer.
No, we don't. A lot of people forgot that he was even on the team.
Well, yeah, then Brian Schottenheimer cut his teeth.
He cut his teeth with his dad.
Well, no, he was offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. That's where I remember.
But didn't he
from.
work with his dad, or was that his brother?
Oh, I don't
Was
know.
there another Schottenheimer?
I just remember him.
I remember
the
him
Seahawks.
with his dad.
You know, the Seahawks went on to have the league's top rushing offense in 2018, and Russell Wilson had a career year. In 19, Wilson threw over 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, and was the Pro Bowl starter. And then in 2020, they set a record for they set a franchise record for most points scored.
With Schottenheimer.
Yes, and then took the brunt. And Seattle's offense struggled, was fired after the wild card loss to the Rams. Well, I mean, come on. I mean, you lost to the Rams in 2020. I believe the Rams won that Super Bowl that year, didn't they? So, passing game coordinator under Urban Meyer. Obviously, that was a fucking hoot. Excuse me, and then went to Dallas. So, yeah, career. I mean, quarterbacks coach with the Colts during Luck. Even though Luck, the second year, Jacoby Brissett had to play. So.
Yeah, but I could have swore that he did some coaching with his dad. At least in. Was it the Chargers that he was quarterbacks coach with his dad?
I didn't realize he was the Mark Richt's last offensive coordinator with Georgia.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
shit.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a long time.
Starter at quarterback was Virginia transfer Grayson Lambert, and Nick Chubb got hurt in the 6th game against Tennessee. Offense averaged 26
When did his
points.
dad? Hold on. When
and
did
went
his
10-3.
dad coach? The Redskins.
1 year. I don't remember.
You're gonna make me look it up, because I swear to God that he coached with his dad right here
That's possible.
at Washington and San Diego,
That's possible. Yes. That
and
is very
possibly when his dad was with the Chiefs in '98.
possible. His middle name is Cornelius.
I don't care. I really could. Your middle name's Edward.
Much kinglier than Cornelius.
Is it? I think Cornelius is way
It
godlier
is.
than
It is.
kinglier.
All right.
It
Anything
sounds
else on
better.
anything else on the? I'm not ready.
Not on the coaches.
I'm not ready to
Saints
give.
don't have
I'm
anything.
not ready to make that a D yet. They
Love-
did hire Arizona's offensive line coach as OC, and then I
And
think
Arizona's been
who's
doing
their
very
defense,
well.
who they hire as their defensive coordinator.
Everfluss.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yes,
How do you forget that?
that's right. That's
How does
right.
one forget that?
Well, it is what it is.
So, I know Kenny wanted to say something about any. What do you have left?
Nothing really. We can close it up. The only thing, we'll preview the Super Bowl next week. I just wanted to give a little shout out to the OKC Thunder, still first place in the West, 37-9 record. Did they lose tonight? Oh, that was the loss to the freaking Warriors. Gag.
Do you see? There's a lot of talk about getting Steph Curry out of.
Well, they're running out of time, so I don't think that. I think
running
that
out of time for. Zion Williams news.
they're running out of time for his career.
Still fat. I don't know if he's still fat, but
He's
he
trimmed
can
up.
only play every other game.
Well.
I sent you that earlier.
Yeah.
We like doing a Zion Williams update because he had been injured with a hamstring throughout this season, and now that his workload is, there's a guy they got to get rid of. There is a guy that's just paid too much.
It's kind of one of those
about it.
fears that you send him somewhere else, he's going to kill you. It's kind of like
Well,
Fire and Brent Venables.
hold
He's
on.
going to go somewhere else and be an OC and just or DC and just kill you.
Hold on,
So,
there is talk about getting Jimmy Buckets in New Orleans now.
yeah, but I don't think you could go to the NBA trade intel, by the way, and see at the bottom of that. I don't think the money's there. He's making almost
No, the money's
50
there.
No, I don't think there's enough money to move him with a. Oh God.
Oh, you want people to pick up his contract?
They have to.
Yeah.
The
Or at
NBA,
least pay half of it.
No, the NBA is very hard. You have to match dollar for dollar, practically, or give picks or something.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how that is. And it's just not going to work out that way. So.
This was a trade, wasn't it? Are we looking at a trade?
No, this is the potential. De'Aaron Fox is really wanting out of the Kings, and
Yeah, I
the
saw that Fox was
Spurs.
wanting
The
out.
Spurs are just really it, but they're not willing to give up one of their key players, like Christensen or what is his name, Castleman, I think, or whatever. So,
Kessel.
I can't remember his name. I really.
Yeah, I know that Fox.
it's
I know
coming.
that Fox
It's-
wants out. I did read that Fox wants out of Sacramento. But does he want to go to San Antonio?
That's been mentioned, yes, and that would bump them up. Right now, San Antonio.
The three teams lining up to form a Wimbayana Block A. Are they trying to get Wimbayana out of
all three feature roster.
out of San Antonio?
Well, no. So what they're saying is
Or get Fox
How-
with Wimbayana?
yes, yeah. Well, no, how they can strengthen themselves or block the other ones from getting for the other team getting better is what I'm saying.
I don't understand any of this.
Well, I mean, what it is what they're talking about is the Thunder have
Is a core is a core that ranks amongst
yeah, we're young.
NBA best.
obviously, and we have so much
No
draft
one older
capital.
than 26. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, did you see the one trade they did last week? Utah traded 3 first rounds
Yeah.
to Phoenix for just one, unprotected way down the road.
Yeah, that was that.
I still didn't
flew
understand
kinda
it, but I
past
mean,
me.
I looked at it and I understand it. You know, it's because they had acquired all these other picks, so they're giving the worst of the worst and the worst of the worst. You know, so I don't know. I mean, and you look at
Why is Memphis in on this?
they're good. They're good.
Are they better?
They have came back. Yes, I mean they're the 3rd seed right now. Thunder's won, then the Rockets, and the Rockets have been a big surprise to me. And of course, we knew the youth there was going to be key to that, and they've got the foreign guy, and I can't remember his name. That's so good.
Who, Memphis?
No, the Houston does. But yeah, they're first in the South, and it's just, I mean, if you go to their roster, I can tell you.
Yeah, I don't know who this kid is. There's a lot of weird kids that are. Is it Nefalia Dante?
No,
That sounds foreign.
it's Alperen Sengun. Yeah, it's their center. Yes, he's the one that's really good, and I believe he made the All-Star game this year.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care about All Stars, Pro Bowls.
Oh, I think basketball is pretty.
Nope,
I
it's
don't
still
like
trash.
the game.
It's still trash.
I don't like the game.
Did you see that the NFL had a dodgeball game?
Yeah, I missed it.
I did too. I missed everything because I don't care about the Pro Bowl.
All right, anything else?
No, we just OU is taking a
Oh,
1-4,
yes, Nate
1-4
Drilling.
the 5.
No, Nate Drilling hired from Arkansas State's defensive coordinator. He's hired as a linebackers coach.
Oh, the football. I was talking about basketball.
Sorry. Looked like they were going to. He wasn't named defensive coordinator. Looks like Brent's going to be the DC,
He's just a
unless they're going to.
figurehead.
Well, unless they're going to
train him.
Well, unless they're going to give someone else on that staff that title to give them a raise. Brandon Hall makes the most sense to me.
McCoe.
He came from Troy. I like him. He recruits really well too, and he's a very underrated coach that no one really talks about. But that's who I would probably put as the official DC. Brent's probably still going to play the calls. I don't like that. I think Brent needs to focus. I mean, this is his make or break year.
Oh, it's definitely the break year.
They've got to win at least 8.
Oh no, they've got to.
No,
win. They've
7
got
to 8 will be fine. The schedule, Sean, is unbelievably hard.
We have the number 1 hardest schedule. I do.
7
if I
to
remember
8
right.
will be fine because I think we could win at 10 next year. The schedule should ease up on us a little bit, and that's what you got in the SEC.
I just know that I laughed whenever Carson Beck is going to begin his Miami career the same way that he finished his Georgia career. Lost to Notre Dame. All right. So we will see you next week, hopefully earlier.
Yes, and we'll be talking. We'll definitely give a hard preview of the Super Bowl. We'll talk a little basketball, any coaching changes.
I don't know.
Not
We're
going to
gonna
have
have-
much. So we'll see you next Thursday or Friday.
Thursday. Yeah.
Yep,
Are we gonna have people in the house?
Like party time?
Mom gonna
Party
be
time?
no.
No, not before that. So
No.
all right.
All
We'll
right.
see you next week. Bye.
Bye.